Kia ora koutou, ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Ko wai I tū I mua I a koutou. Ki te taha o toku māma, te poho o tamatia te mauka, ko whakaraupo te moana, ko takitimu te waka, kaitahu te iwi. Te wheke te whare, te wheke te hapu. Ko rāpaki toku whenua. Ko Dion Hutana, tōna ingoa. Ki te taha o toku pāpā, ko Fukuoka te whenua, ko Kyushu te motu no hapani ia. Ko Sachiko Shimamoto tōna ingoa, ko Sachiko Shimamoto ahau. Watashi no nā mai wa Shimamoto Sachiko desu. He kaimahi o he wakatapu, toku pākari tinana e whakaora ai. Kia ora koutou. My name is Sachi and I'm from Christchurch, and the reason why I'm here today is because I am so passionate about the issue of poverty in New Zealand. I'm a little bit nervous because I have never done any public speaking before, so forgive me if I make any mistakes, but I want to share with you my own experience of poverty. So I'm the oldest of 6 kids and I grew up in a solo parent family. My father is Japanese, so he was kind of in and out of my life, and I spent half of my life growing up like in Japan, in between Japan and New Zealand, so you can understand that I was kind of a little bit confused. I am a solo mother of 3. I left school when I was 14 and I got pregnant and had my first child when I was 16. She has a disability because she received brain injury at birth, and so, you know, I am Māori. I am a solo parent of 3. One of my children has a disability. I grew up in poverty. There was alcohol, drug abuse, mental illness. My life was riddled with it up until around 4 years ago. So, you know, how did that girl come out of that? The way that my life turned around and changed was because of connection, like we've already heard, was because of education, was because of community and support. It was because there are a lot of issues that that surrounded that, and the earthquake, I can't not mention that because that was a part of it, you know. You wouldn't imagine that that there would be a positive effect of a natural disaster, but for me it was exactly that. The earthquake that happened in Christchurch kind of had a bit of a ripple effect, and for my life it kind of brought a sense of belonging and a sense of, you know, like I was needed. I needed to rise up and be strong for my family. I was connected more to my friends and family because I was concerned about their welfare and they were concerned about mine. I received support from community organisations, the Red Cross, places like that who sort of rose up and they came to the party, and because of lots of those things I sort of started to become inspired and encouraged. Positive seeds, positive words were sown into me, and you know, the benefit of being able to help someone else is that I felt really awesome about doing that, and I continued to do so. I continued on from there, and I decided that I would get into like personal training and group fitness because I just really loved it. I loved going to the gym, and that ended up leading me down a really, really awesome path. I got connected with a local church, and you know, the support and encouragement around my life began to change my mindset, and that kind of leads me on to my 3 points. So, you know, one of the points that we've already been brought up is education. I'm really fortunate enough that my children go to a special character school in Christchurch called Te Pā o Rā Kaihautu, and this school is bringing a traditional way of learning into a modern age. So it's modern learning, but they take traditional methods that were, you know, that our people used that worked. We didn't ever do anything on our own. It wasn't an individual thing. It wasn't just about the education of one child. It was about the welfare of a whole whānau. So the school that my children go to, without intention, they are tackling poverty. My children go to school and they get fed breakfast, lunch and tea at school, and we are invited to pay a kai levy. If there's a whānau who can't support that, who can't afford their kai levy, then we can support them by giving, by sponsoring. They can come in and they can do part-time voluntary work and things like that. There's lots of examples that I could give you, but one of the points is, why don't we support schools to support the families in the community? You know, there's a common denominator there is that children go to school. Children are so vulnerable. They're in you know, they're the vulnerable people here that we have to think about. And if there are support services in schools, it removes a barrier of whānau having to access that support themselves. It takes away that barrier, you know, to seek support, you need to be motivated to do it. But when you live in poverty and you live in the now, how are you motivated? You know, lots of our whānau are isolated. And so if we were able to take the support to a place, you know, where they are already going, then that kind of removes one of those barriers already. So that takes me to my second point, which is around supporting the work that has already been done. You know, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have whānau order workers, support workers, social workers out there. But I find, I didn't tell you, but I work in an NGO. I'm a health promoter and I work in schools teaching taonga tākaro. The main contract that our workplace hold is running a residential rehabilitation program, so it's for alcohol and drug services. So one of the main problems that we face is that the services aren't integrated. You know, we're dealing with individual issues, but, you know, we could do so much more work. It's not just alcohol and drugs that we deal with. We're dealing with mental health. We're dealing with poverty. We're dealing with so many issues, but we're restricted in the work that we can do. So I see a solution as being able to integrate the services and also, I find a simple solution would be to put funding into the hands of those who need it. So recently there was a fund opened up and we were able to work with whānau around setting short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. And out of that, we were able to identify some of the needs and the barriers for these whānau to reach their goals. So, for example, someone wants a job, but they have really bad oral health. Let's put in an application for some funding to get your teeth fixed. You know, something as much as $2,000 could be a barrier to them going to a job interview, but those are real needs. Let's look at empowering and inspiring people to go out and, you know, instead of doing to people, why don't we work with, you know, and help them to you know, we know the answers to our own problems, but we just sometimes need a hand to get through that and to get over that. My last point is around health. So I'm a health promoter, and one thing that I really struggle with is delivering nutrition to whānau who can't afford to buy food. How do you tell someone that eating 5 servings of vegetable and fruit a day is good for you if they can't afford that? You know, we have something in Christchurch, and I don't know if it's anywhere else, and it's called the Veggie Co-op. And so for $10 a week, you can go and buy a huge, like, couple of bags of groceries, a big bag of fruit and a big bag of vegetables. And that's another thing that is also supported by the school that my children go to. So whānau come to school, they drop their kids off, they'll pick up their $10 bag of fruit and vegetables, you know, and this is an example of how we're working together, you know, to support our whānau that are in need. So let's look at ways that we can make healthy kai affordable and available to families. You know, it's not just about, you know, the practical, simple solutions. But yeah, I hope that out of that you guys got something, and you know, we'll be coming around to support. So yeah, kia ora, thank you.